Hey, welcome back to the podcast. We are continuing to dive into vision. Today, we're talking about 4 key components. And as I was creating these, I realized that one of the common things that I talk about is having core values, is knowing your core values and using it as a way to create boundaries and create your vision. And it's such a pivotal, not pivotal, let's see, it's a key component to vision. The next episode, so this comes out on a Monday, so Thursday, the episode, we're going to talk about how to discover your core values. So you don't want to miss that. But until then, let's dive in. Hey, and welcome to the Full Weight of Joy podcast, the podcast for women who are done stressing about the weight of the world, of expectations and settling for status quo, and ready to step into the full weight of joy. Joy in the journey, whether up or down, joy through the life's challenges, and joy in loving your life right where you are, even though sometimes we feel like chucking it all and moving to Bali. It's for women who are ready to step into who God called them to be. He chose you to be in this world. He created you for a specific purpose. God called us to be the light on a hill, and by embracing who you are and whose you are, you can stand on that hill and shine. The best part, when you're standing next to another woman who's also on the journey, the world gets brighter. My name is Tammy. I'm your host and a master certified life coach and a trained therapist. For over a decade, I've been helping women do just that. Step into who they're called to be and shine. Are you ready, friend, to start your journey? Let's do this. Hey, welcome back to the podcast. Today, we are continuing into this theme of vision. And so today I want to talk to you about, we're going to talk about the four key components. We're going to talk more about these in depth in the Vision Lab. So I have the dates, I will put them in the show notes, and soon, starting next week, you'll be able to sign up for the Vision Lab. It's going to be the end of the month. And I'm so excited because all of these podcasts are going to lead up to that. We're going to take all these concepts, the information, and then we're going to put them into action. We're actually going to create visions with them. Our vision, our declarations. We're going to create a vision board. We're going to talk about how to expand your vision and have a personal, a business, and an impact vision that lights you up and that motivates you to get your butt moving. The whole point of a vision is not just to aspire to see it and wish that it was your life, but it's meant to push you, propel you forward into action. And in fact, crafting a compelling vision is more than just it having a future, crafting or imagining a future. It's about anchoring that future in your deepest values, giving it clarity, ensuring that inspires you to take action, breaks it down into achievable milestones that keeps you moving forward. Vision is meant to inspire you, to get you moving as we're going to talk about in a couple of weeks, a vision is actually also going to help you through those storms that come. It's going to help. It's the guidepost. It's that lighthouse, that light that keeps you anchored on what's possible, even when things go wrong, even when the storms come, and they do come, even when you have a detailed vision. Last week, I just had a day where I was just ready to chuck it all and move to Bali. I just wasn't seeing the things. I was doing all the things and I wasn't seeing the results that I wanted. And I was just getting frustrated in multiple areas of my life. And I just had to step back and I had to throw in the towel for that day, but then also just regroup. And luckily I have people on my side. I have support. I have a coach and I have mentors and friends who are like, okay, Tammy, take a moment and then recommit to yourself, go to your vision and use that to move you forward, because it is rooted deeply in my values. And it does give me clarity on the why I'm doing this and what I want. And so today, we're going to dive in a little bit more practical today. We're going to talk about the 4 components. And before I do, I wanted to talk about gardening. For some people, they have green thumbs, right? And it comes so naturally. But whether you have a green thumb or a black thumb, or you're just trying to like have a thumb at all when it comes to gardening, when you're trying it out, it's still not something that you can't, it's not a set it and forget it. Like there's not much in life that is set it and forget it. Having a garden, it takes time. Like you have to plant. You have to decide first. First, you plan because if you just take some seeds, a bunch of seeds and throw them out, one is birds are probably going to get them. Two, weeds will take over. Three, it's you don't know what you're planting, and it just you don't know because it's certain things need to go with other next to other things. There's a plan, right? So when you are planning a garden, you get to plan where it's going to be, where does the sun shine best and what grows taller, what grows shorter. You have to plan what and where. And then what are you going to plant? Because they don't take the same amount of water, the same amount of sunshine. Like some need partial shade and some need to be watered daily. And like tomatoes, I realize if you overwater them, then they get mealy. And so this garden, you have to plan and you have to prep for it. And then you also have to nurture it. Like you have to make sure it has the right soil. There's, that's part of the plan. And then after you sow the seeds and then you have to nourish it. You have to fertilize and you have to prune it. You have to pull the weeds as they come up. You have to, as you're pruning, you thin it out because you want just more is not always better. You want stronger, you want deep roots in your vegetables and in your flowers and in your trees, because deep roots also have the health and the growth that you're looking for. And so then you get to cultivate step by step. You shape it, you clip it, you pull some of them, and you watch them, you take care of it. You like squash bugs. So our squash, our zucchini, I love fresh zucchini. And for the last 2 years, squash bugs have been a major problem, like to the point where we're just like, okay, we're going to just throw in the towel this year. We tried to get them under control, but we had to, give that up because we couldn't get control over these squash bugs. And so now we're doing more research for next year. So as this garden, we're already planning our garden for next year. When your vision is no different, because when you plan it, when you cultivate it, when you nurture it, when you give it detail and you look to see how do you prune it and where do you thin it out and where do you go deeper with it, then it brings beauty. It brings fruit. It brings the flowers and nourishment. And it also, seeds beget seeds. Like it will refuel itself. So I know we have where our compost pile was, our tomato plant that actually did the best grew out of our old compost pile. Like it was, so we just put a cage right there in the middle of the garden, in the middle of the yard. It wasn't even near the garden, but it's from the compost pile that we moved because it no longer worked where we had it. But we had, and it was all from the seeds. So when you start to nurture it, like it grows and it cultivates and you work it and then you get fruit from it for time after time. And so I want you to think of your vision as a garden, that you get to decide that like there could be 100 people gardening and not one garden will look the same, not one shape, not one, like the mixture of plants. Some will be more edibles and some will be more, for beauty or to call in the bees, what is your goal? What is the intention for the garden? And so when you're thinking of your vision, that's part of it, is what is the intention? What are your goals? Who are you in this? And that leads us to the first like tenet, the first component is it needs to be our vision needs to be purpose and value aligned. Your purpose, your value. This is not something that you could take someone else's vision and bring it to life. Because if it doesn't align with what matters to you, it's not going to compel you. it's not going to get you moving. It's not going to get you to your destination. And it's actually going to bring some frustration. It'll bring disillusionment. It will bring, it'll be a tougher road. Now, I'm not saying you can't take other people's visions and use it as a jumping point for your own, but just taking someone else's vision it doesn't inspire you. It doesn't inspire me anyway. It does inspire me to see other people's vision come to life. Like if I see the detail of it, it makes me want to pour into mine as well. So that's one area that it is like you see someone else's garden and you're just like, man, it's so beautiful. You have a green thumb. I have a black thumb. So this is part of the issue, but you can learn from them too. So when you know that someone has a vision similar to yours, learn from them, learn from their plan, learn from the things that matter to them. But you need to rewrite it. You need to, reimagine it into what aligns with you. And so we are going to dive deeper into the purpose and the value alignment when we're talking in the Vision Lab. Like we're going to do that in more detail. But today I just want to talk about it because your vision must be deeply rooted within you. Because if it's going to give you clarity, if it's going to ensure that it inspires you to take action, and if you're going to be able to break it down into achievable milestones and keep you moving forward, the key there is you. If it's not in your heart, then it's not going to do its job. So the next one is specificity and clarity. So a vision in itself, it's got to be written down. If it's stuck in your heart and you don't have it on paper, it is not, or in pictures, or you can do it on digital. Like there's a lot of ways to do it. But if it's stuck in your heart, it can't ever materialize into a full vision. And it's just a dream. It's a wish. Our brains need to see it in order to believe it. And so that's one of the things is when, a vague vision is hard to act on. And by teasing it out and by expanding on it and getting clear and creating those pictures, that visual effect for it, your brain loves the language of the brain is clarity. And so by having specificity, I think I said it right, and clarity, it gives you more detail, more texture to your vision, and it will allow your brain to say, yes, that we want, and we can go for it. And so, and this is why we do detail. This is why we look at pictures, and we go and we look at destinations, and we look at what is your goal, and you find something that symbolizes that. This is why we use words and adding some art to it, because we are creators. We're created to be creative. Like our God is a creative God. Like the Garden of Eden is an example of that. And so that's why it's in our heart. And the more texture, the more senses we involve in this vision, the more real it becomes to our brain, and the more it can grasp onto it and run with it. And so the next one is one of my favorite ones, and this is the inspiration and motivation. So it should inspire you inspire and energize you. If you read it and you don't have any feelings about it, it is not the vision for you. Like, my friend, let's expand that and put that texture, who, what, when, why, how, where, what does it smell like? What does it look like? What does it feel like? Like location, if you have a dream house, like what does it look like? What does the front door look like? We can envision these things. If a master bathroom is what really inspires you, and because there's some beautiful bathrooms, then you go and you find something that represents you and what you want. And so we need the inspiration to keep being energized, and for the motivation. Our motivation is something we have to actually seek out. Rarely are we motivated just for motivation's sake. Action brings motivation. And so that's why inspiration is so important, because this inspiration can also lead to action, which leads to motivation. And so it needs to create an excitement, a sense of desire within you. And this is where we get to paint a vivid picture. Like, you don't have to be a great artist. This is why magazines and going and getting pictures and looking at like sunsets or sunrises are so impactful, because we're inspired by color, by vision, by things that we see. And so, like, we want that inspiration. And sometimes we do have to start externally and then bring it internally. And so, like, what inspires you most? Like, just jot it down. Just start, like, what motivates you? What inspires you to take action? Because your vision needs to be rooted in that. And it's different for everyone. And there's no right or wrong. The only thing that's wrong is not getting it out and not going forward and not realizing that you deserve to have it, to see it come to life, that you're worthy of the vision that God's crafted within you. And so the next one is, this is where our long-term focus partnered together with short-term milestones. We need that long-term so that we can, it's, a lot of times our vision, if it's small and it's something that we can achieve next week, that's not a big enough vision. That's just a goal. That's just something that we go after. We create the action steps and we take it. We take action. But I'm talking about something that, like, a year from now, 3 years from now. I'm not a huge fan of 10 years from now. I think 3 years is typically what my heart and my brain will allow me to do. And those, I do know people who have 10-year, beautiful 10-year goals. I also know that they revisit them every, year to 3 years and then rewrite them, because as you grow, so does your vision. As you transform, so will your vision, and to allow that. And so I like a 1 to 3 year focus, but then with the short-term milestones of, okay, if this is my mountain, if this is my peak that I want in 3 years from now, what are some of the shorter term milestones that I can start? What are the boxes that I can check off? What are the things that I can do? And so by breaking it down into milestones, and there's ways to do that. And there's tons of ways on the internet to break down, goals. I'm not a huge fan of SMART goals. I'm not a fan of those, really. Those have not helped me. I understand the concept, and there's other ways that work better for me. And we will go over some of those in the Vision Lab and in other things. Like, well, we can talk more about goal setting and ways to motivate yourself to achieve the goals. We'll talk about that different. But right now, we're really focused on these milestones that help bring balance and prevent overwhelm and burnout. So they're the milestones that we can see, like, okay, as we're running the race, as we're, this marathon that we're running, and it's the checkpoints. And so if I love those, okay, so I say I love them. I have not actually run them, but those like half marathons that are, centered around like food, like there's like taco ones or wine ones where, like, checkpoints, you get, a food or you get a glass of wine. And so I say that I love them. I also am not running those. I will run a 5K. I don't even think, I don't even want to commit. I will not say never, because then God's like, oh, really? Never? We'll see about that. But I don't have a desire to run a 10K. But I'll do a 5K, and you add food in there, and sure, like, I'm all in. But so that's kind of what that short-term milestones are. It's they get you closer to that long-term focus. So it's important that we have that long-term with the short-term milestones that we can blend together that help create this path for us. So it's not just enough that we have this, like, whole world created from 3 years from now. It's what are some of the things that we can do, the tangible things that we can do to get it as well. And so these 4 steps, these 4 components are really, if you want to craft a compelling vision, work through these 4 things, and you will have you'll have a vision with some legs to it. You'll have a vision that inspires you and that will get you motivated and get you taking action. And I just wanted to share one last thing is, so the leadership challenge, they're James Kouzes and Barry Poshner. Like I was reading about, they created this leadership challenge and they did an extensive study on effective leadership. And it was talking about one of the things, the key components is leaders with a clear vision and leaders without. And they said it was a compelling and not just a vision, but I'm talking about like a compelling, a detailed and inspiring vision that's beyond what they could see possible. Like they went for it and then they also broke down this long-term focus into short-term milestones. But by having this, the findings showed overwhelmingly that with having a vision, people felt more connected to a purpose, a larger purpose. And they knew that it was beyond themselves. Like it wasn't just it's about me. It was a much deeper rooted reason for success. And so that was one of the things that they saw as in their finding is that a vision was key factor in that. And that's one of the reasons why this month I wanted to focus on vision. And this is why, if you haven't got my resource yet, the three biggest mistakes when starting a small business or starting a business with impact that I see. And number one is you have a limited vision or no vision. And so if you haven't gotten that resource, it's in the show notes. Please get it because it just will help start to put that framework for you, just to ask you a couple of questions to see, because when you're creating something, when you're creating your thing, especially when it's birthed from your heart, when it's from your personal experiences, your life experience, your expertise, it's from a story that you have lived through, there's another layer of meaning to it. And so sometimes we get caught up and it matters so much that we get paralyzed because we don't see a way through it. Well, my friend, I'm telling you right now that it's so crucial that if this was put on your heart to make an impact from your life experiences, from your expertise, if God's put that on your heart, like people need it. And this is where I can help you take it from that idea and get it out on paper and get this vision. This is a perfect place to start. It's kind of a safe place to start, but it also, as you know, like hopefully you can see that when you start to get legs to this and texture to this vision, it also is going to inspire you and make it like, okay, like this is what I want. This has helped me in my business and being able to share my story and sharing it from a place of healing and being healed versus a place of wound and like it's, from the rather than the wound. It's and I know that it's about me and it's not about me. And so that's an important aspect of creating an impactful, excuse me, an impactful vision that's birthed from your life experiences and your expertise, is that it does mean so much, and the responsibility we hold with that. And I want to help you release some of that burden so that way it actually can come out to the world, so you can have that impact that you want. And having a clear vision is one of the fastest ways to get moving. It's a safe way because it doesn't take much investment up front, but it pulls in that investment during the process. It brings in that desire of, as you're crafting this thing and you're looking at the life and the impact that's possible, you get to the point where you're like, I have to do this. And that's where I got with my vision. And I want that for you too, because it just feels so motivating and inspiring. And it brings me joy. It's part of that full weight of joy that I want for you, because we can carry the weight of the world or we can carry the weight of joy. And when we choose joy, we choose fulfillment, we choose impact, we choose legacy, we choose to listen to that small voice deep in our knower that says you are called for more. Like that's where the joy stems from. That's where God has plans for you. And we can tease them out, we can pull them out, and it's a safe space to start to say them out loud. and your vision is a beautiful place to start. So that's why this month I really wanted to dive into vision, because with a vision, a compelling, a visible, a creative vision, it becomes like you're drawn to run the race. You're drawn to take it and run with it and make it come true, because it inspires you so much. And when you get inspired, others get inspired. And so that's my whole reason for spending this whole month on vision. I hope you could stick with me, because I have a lot to share, and I love it. The more I can tease it out, the more I can talk about it, the more I just get excited about, and like I'm crafting my next year vision right now as well. And so take these, like start to write, start to journal about your vision, and using these 4 components of purpose and values alignment, specificity, specificity, specificity. You know what I'm saying? And clarity, like put some detail to it and be very specific. Don't say, I want to make an impact. How, who, like what. You want details. And this is where the senses come in. Like, where do you want to do this? Who do you want to help? How do you want to help them? And again, when you're trying to discover your purpose, like reach out. If this is an area that's getting you stuck, you like, I know what my purpose is. I want that the why behind the why is what I want to work on. Like, reach out to me and we can talk about what's possible. I do one-off calls. I just did a VIP day with a lady who we came and we talked about, she had one question. And with that, like it was 3 hours. We worked 3 hours and completely created a actionable plan. And her question was, it's like, how do I get more clients? And we crafted an entire plan, and she is launching her podcast later this month. Like, I am super excited about it. I can't wait to have her on my podcast, and then hopefully she'll let me be on hers as well. But it's when we start working on, and what's your goal? What's your purpose? And so this is important for your vision, to think about what you want. The next is the inspiration and motivation. Do not leave out this. Like, have fun with it. Go and look through magazines. Go and look through Pinterest. Go and just look at pictures. Look at old pictures of places you've been, things you've done. Go look at pictures of your younger kids when they used to love you unconditionally and now don't roll their eyes every time you tell them to put their dishes away. Go back to those days when they just adored you. But find that inspiration and motivation, and get that, and get some of that texture out. And then also the long-term focus and the short-term milestones. Like, what are some milestones that you can check off, that reverse engineer it to get to the desired vision, desired outcome. But then, add some short-term milestones in there that you can take action on today. All right, friend, with that, I am just excited for you to be here. I hope that you are here. I hope that you were here for it this month. I would love to know if you have questions about vision, if there's things that you want to learn about it. Like, send me a DM, send me an email, whether it's LinkedIn at Tammy Imlay, or Instagram and Facebook is at Tammy Marie Coaching. Let me know, because this is for you. This is like, I love learning about this stuff. I love diving in, and I do a lot of the research so that way you don't have to, because I happen to love reading and research and making connections of things and pulling a little thing from here and a little thing from there to make it better. Like, that's one of the things that I love doing, and I do for my clients all the time. And so if you have a question, or it's like, how do I do this? Let me know, so I know how I can support you, how I can serve you best. Because really, this is part of my heart, and is to be able to serve you in a way that you need, that like not only helps you, but inspires you and helps you, like that small voice that says you are made for more. I want to help you pull that out and do it, because purpose in itself is amazing. Knowing your purpose, but living it and seeing the fruit from you taking action and living it is a whole nother joy that I don't want you to miss out on. All right, with that, friend, choose joy until joy chooses you. If you have not checked out my new book, it's a collaborative book and there's some amazing stories. I haven't even finished reading it. Actually, I just got my copy today when I'm recording this. Like, it came in the mail. I haven't seen it physically until today. And it's part of the vision that I've had over the last couple of years, and to finally feel it and see it on Amazon. And it just, it's also inspirational and motivation for me to see that things that I've worked towards are coming to life. Like, it is possible. Did it look like I expected? No, it actually was a whole lot easier than I thought, because I had a guide, because I knew that, like, I had someone who was on that path and was like, let me show you the way. And so take a page out of my book, literally, and get yourself a guide to walk you through the path that you want to take. Like, that's one reason why I'm doing this Vision Lab, is because I want to walk you through crafting it, creating it, and having it be compelling enough to inspire you. All right. Well, I have in the show notes link for my book, Breaking the Silence: Voices of Survivors. And I will also have, the information about the Vision Lab, like the dates, so you can start putting it on your calendar. There will be replay. So if you can't come to it live, which please try to come to it live. That's one of the reasons why I'm going to have the dates and the times early for you before you can even sign up for it, because I want you to start setting that time aside. You will have some homework. I'm spacing it out, so 2 1 week into the next week, so that way you have time to craft your compelling vision. But I cannot wait. I'm so excited to present it. I'm so excited to walk you through this and see what your vision is, because it blows my mind every time I do this with my clients. When I see their vision, it just motivates me also to go after mine. And so with that, friend, choose joy until joy chooses you, and I will talk to you soon. All right. Bye for now. Remember, if you have any questions, or if there's something about vision that you want to know, like, DM me. Like, I'm serious. Like, DM me on LinkedIn. If you don't follow me on LinkedIn, like, I've been hanging out more over there, and I really love hanging out over there. I love how I get to teach a little bit more and have more educational things over there. So I love that. But I'll still be on Instagram and Facebook as well. So anyway, but honestly, the podcast is the best place to listen to me every week, and then just come and hang out with me in the DMs, and let's chat. I really love talking with you. All right. With that, I will talk to you later. Bye.